My bathroom has a soul. It listens, it remembers, it reacts. I used to think that was a joke I told myself to make sense of panic. Now I know better. Panic comes after. The room acts first. The first time I said it felt cramped, my lungs betrayed me. Not a sudden attack, not a shock, a slow refusal. Each breath shortened as if the air itself had decided I had already used enough. My ribs pressed inward. My chest felt packed with wet cloth. The walls stayed where they were, but the space between them did not. The room leaned closer without moving. The mirror showed my face too near, stretched at the edges, warped like heat damage. My eyes looked wrong. Old. Familiar in the way a childhood home looks familiar after you realize something bad happened there and you never asked about it. I said it felt clean once. I meant it as praise. My shoulders loosened. The pressure eased. The air went thin and sharp, like a hospital hallway after visiting hours. The relief lasted seconds. Then the silence changed. It sharpened. It focused, like the room noticed the shift in my voice and decided to correct it. Nothing physical changed. That became my anchor phrase. Tiles stayed straight. The sink stayed bolted. The toilet did not move. The ceiling did not lower. I repeated it out loud to prove control. Still, my body reacted faster than thought, faster than fear, faster than logic. That speed scared me more than any shadow ever could. The drain made noise when I hesitated. Not random plumbing sounds, not water settling. It gurgled when I stopped moving. It sounded like a throat clearing, like impatience. When I leaned closer to listen, it stopped. When I stepped back, it resumed. I tested it until my hands shook. The pattern held. The fan turned on the first time my thoughts spiraled. I had not touched the switch. The noise exploded above me, too loud, too intimate. It filled my skull. It felt like something breathing directly into my ears. When I reached for the switch, it stopped before my fingers touched plastic. The light flickered when doubt crossed my mind. Once, twice. Then it held steady, bright and unwavering, like a stare that does not blink because it does not need to. I started noticing rules. The mirror fogged only when I avoided looking at myself. Steam did not matter. Heat did not matter. My gaze mattered. The shower curtain shifted when my back turned. Not a flutter, a pull. Enough to make fabric whisper. The door handle felt warmer after I spoke out loud. Not hot, just used. Like skin had rested there recently. I tested it carefully. Compliments first. I said the tiles looked nice. Nothing happened. I said the room felt quiet. The fan clicked once. I said I appreciated the space. The mirror stayed clear. I waited for punishment. None came. The silence stretched. It felt like being spared, not forgiven. Then I complained again. I said I hated the smell of damp porcelain. The sink dripped immediately. One slow drop, then another. Then it stopped. I said I felt trapped in there sometimes. The lock clicked by itself. Not fully. Just enough to let me know it could. I stopped locking the door after that. It felt useless. Privacy felt performative. If the room listened, the lock existed only to make me feel safer. That feeling died fast. I stopped closing the door completely. I left it cracked like an offering. At night, the room felt different, not darker, heavier. The darkness had weight. The air clung to my skin. Every surface felt aware of my presence before I touched it. I avoided mirrors then. I brushed my teeth without looking up. I washed my hands, staring at the drain. I could feel something leaning toward me from behind, patient and close, like it knew I would turn eventually. One night, tired and careless, I said I hated being in there. I said it plainly, no sarcasm, no joke, just truth. The bulb burned out instantly. Not a flicker, not a pop. Total darkness. Thick darkness. The kind that presses against your eyes until you feel blind even when you blink. I froze. I did not move. I did not breathe. The air felt damp and crowded. The silence had texture. It felt expectant. Something waited. I understood that instinctively. I did not need proof. I stood there until my legs shook, I did not reach for the door. I did not speak again. I felt like speech would invite correction. After a long time, longer than felt safe, the door creaked open on its own. Not wide. Just enough to spill hallway light across the floor. I stepped out without looking back. The next morning, the bulb worked again. After that, I whispered. Even whispering felt dangerous. The room reacted slower. That scared me more. The delay felt intentional, like it was choosing responses instead of reacting automatically. Deliberate pauses feel cruel when you know something is deciding what to do with you. I began timing things. The fan would turn on exactly 3 seconds after my thoughts crossed a certain line. The mirror would fog only after I denied fear. The drain would respond when my hands hovered above water. Always when I hesitated. Never when I committed. Sometimes the mirror showed me leaving before I did. I would see my reflection turn away while my body stayed still. The door would open in the glass before it opened in reality. I stopped trusting reflections. I avoided eye contact with myself. I did not recognize the person looking back anymore. He looked like someone who had already been studied. I heard the fan while lying in bed once. The sound carried through the hall. Steady, mechanical, familiar. I checked. It was off. Always off. I checked again. Still off. I stood in the doorway waiting for it to turn on. It did not. The sound followed me back to bed and stopped only when I fell asleep. Objects started feeling misplaced even when they were not. The toothbrush angled slightly differently each time. The soap bar rotated on its own. The towel held warmth after hours of not being touched. The trash can lid lifted when I stared at it too long. Just a fraction. Just enough. I stopped talking in the bathroom. I stopped thinking loudly. I learned to keep my mind flat and quiet. I went in. I did what was necessary. I left. My heart raced every time. Sweat soaked my back. My hands trembled. I never felt alone. Not once. One morning, the mirror wrote my name in steam before I turned on the shower. I did not scream. I did not move. The letters blurred and vanished as if embarrassed. I called in sick to work. I sat in the living room staring at the bathroom door. It stayed closed. Silent. Innocent. That night, the door was open when I came home. The light was on. I stood in the hallway listening. The fan was off. The drain was quiet. The mirror reflected darkness. I whispered an apology without knowing what for. The light flickered once, then stayed steady. I realized something then. The room was not reacting to sound. It was reacting to intent, to judgment, to resentment, to fear before fear had a name. It knew when I lied to myself. It knew when I resisted. It knew when I tried to leave emotionally, even if my body stayed. I stopped thinking of it as a bathroom. I started thinking of it as a witness. Witnesses do not need to act often. They just need to be present long enough for you to change. Now, when I stand at the sink, I keep my thoughts empty. No praise, no complaints, no labels. I avoid mirrors. I avoid corners. I keep my back to the door. I leave as soon as possible. Sometimes I swear the room breathes when I do. Sometimes I feel relief when I step out, then shame, like I abandoned something that wanted me to stay. Viewer takeaway: spaces learn fear before you do.